Who's making all that sound, Matt? I'm blaming you. It's somebody. But how do I even restart, man? We're off to a good start. We're like SanAntonio FC at home. Just a poor start for here. But welcome to SAFC Fancast or SanAntonio FC Fancast. My name is Harry. Hashtag Raymond Call. Hashtag the Broncos got screwed. Vikings are losing. So Robert. This might be a festive, not a kid-friendly show because the Broncos lost. Club America lost. All of Matt's teams lost, I think, right? The Chiefs, they got embarrassed at home. The Dynamo lost to my Rapids. And the big match today, Jonathan, what color is Manchester?
A beautiful sky blue. Actually, I mean, it's probably gray skies because it's always raining there, but blue.
And it wasn't even close. It wasn't even. And the sad part for you, Matt, is Man City wasn't even playing good. I hate to say it, as a neutral. Now Newcastle won. So that's the one positive.
So you already said it's not a kid-friendly show. Y'all can all kindly fuck off, okay?
Yeah, we're setting the expectations here. The Chiefs are 0-2. Don't forget about that, Harry. But the Broncos are 1-1. Being 2-0, especially after missing a field goal and then the refs fixing the game. Oh, did I say that out loud? The refs calling a penalty after with zeros on the clock. Come on, City. MCR is blue. Sam, good evening. I'm gonna go into the transactions real quick, and then we'll talk about New Mexico United because they have our number. I think we'll probably talk longer about the injury report than the actual game. Because there's really only one moment in the game that we got to talk about, and that's the goal that New Mexico scored. I guess the red card for that here. Noah Dollenmayer signed on loan from El Paso. That center back. Not exactly a position of need, but I guess a position of need.
Yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one when you look at it because you just got Salim back from injury. I mean, okay, Crognale, SAFC didn't rule him out for the season, but he's obviously not going to be, week to week. It's going to take a little time for him to heal after his surgery. So, yeah, it's a little weird to see a fourth center back now in the mix, but maybe says something about Yamosa wanting to try something, maybe three at the back, or maybe just not trusting one of the guys he's got, wanted someone a little better, a little more reliable in his eyes.
And I sent a message to the Sirius Loco. They mentioned he was solid. They don't understand why he fell out of favor in El Paso. It was just kind of strange for that here. My buddy Chris Lea. What's up, fellas? And his Saints are looking pretty good too, right? What's up, Sanchez? What's up with Sanchez? Is he on the injury report, or did he finally fall out of favor? He started the last game, so and got the W. They'd been out earlier, so we'll kind of discuss that. Matt, Rafa, any thoughts on the center back?
Just added depth. I mean, that's a weakness. We do have a weakness there in the center back position, and that was proof of that in that New Mexico game.
Oh shoot! I lost the page here. So the injury report for New Mexico: Slim is fit again. Barone was injured. Omar away on international duty. It was a laundry list of I think 6-7 people. Lineup was Juan Jorge Kyle, making his I think his first appearance, maybe second. Landry, Amir Soto, Nicky, Reese, Alexis, Mitch, Nelson, and Daniel, who got the start. 31st minute, red card to Landry. Not overturned. Allegedly, he stepped, and this was the formation. Two up top, the 4-4-2. Although I don't think they really play it that much, but for that here. But we'll go with you, Jonathan. Your thoughts on the red card, because you put question for reason. So when the media is like asking questions, that makes us fans look even more smarter. Because of course we've been like, hey, why was the red card?
Yeah, it was really strange because it's almost as if Landry Walker is maybe trying to get his foot out of the way of kicking a guy in the head, and referee thought he was trying to kick the guy in the head. I don't know. Looked like there wasn't really that much contact, and all of a sudden you've got the referee reaching into their back pocket, putting a red card out there. It's really strange. For what it's worth, I thought, okay, maybe there's not really that much there to go off of. Maybe we still see Walker available next week. But either SAFC didn't even bother appealing it, or SAFC maybe tried to appeal it, said, hey, there's not really much in this, and got denied. So the red card did stand. A little spoiler alert for availability for the most recent match. Walker was not available. But it just, everyone, even when you see the replays, you're just going kind of, well, there's maybe you can say yellow, but there's certainly not intent or anything in that. It was not a red, and I don't think anyone really justifies it.
Well, what got me is there were some other calls on New Mexico that if you're going to call that a red, if you're going to be consistent, should have been red as well. But that's just me. Your thoughts, Matt, and then Rafa? Matt, we lost you. Yeah, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Okay.
Okay.
We can hear you.
What do you call it? After that red, I think that's when I put up my drum, Rafa. Oh, you weren't even there. Yeah, I think that's when I put up my drum. I was like, I don't care anymore.
What do you call Rafa, dude? He was out working. Come on.
Yeah, I didn't.
No, actually, no. He was at home with mom, and it was her birthday. And happy birthday,
that was right. That's right. But yeah, after that red, I think I put up my drum, and I was like, yeah, I'm done. I just sat there watching the game. I felt like on that game there was no motivation. There was no excitement. It just felt, bleh. You know what I mean? I didn't see a point in drumming. I didn't see a point in trying to do chants. For the most part, we were getting in trouble at the time we were doing the chants. So it's like, nah, I'm good. If the guys want to get in trouble, go for it. I'm all for it. But I just stopped caring for that game. I did not care one bit what was going the turnout was going to be.
I agree with you that the environment for that game was dismal. Like there was, and I think I think it's just a problem with the team and the fan base is there's no confidence for that here. Rafa, your thoughts?
Well, let me say about this, but the ref. I mean the fourth division ref, and you can tell that she was not very experienced. She should go back to Neosa and officiate there because she basically made it all.
Go that far.
Well, she basically made it all about herself, and as far as the calls, and you have to be consistent. That red card was a little harsh because, like I said, he was trying to avoid on that play because I was watching it, but there was other things that she just kind of let go, and she kind of lost all hand. That pretty much, it was kind of a little free for all. But as far as the game wise, that when the goal they scored on, you know, I think it's kind of been the story this season. Well, after the break, is the story of the second half of the season is just lack of focus, not being prepared, ball watching and stuff like that. And like Matt said, there's no urgency, especially on the attack. We're not being creative, and like I said, something has to give. And like I said, we'll talk about what happened yesterday. But you can tell that game against New Mexico was a must win. You had to win that game to kind of stay. Well, I mean,
Is
as
it a
far as
must win when there's really 9 teams battling for 8 spots?
well, I mean, tiebreakers. I mean, they could go. Like I said, it could be the
We lost
tiebreaker.
the tiebreaker, yeah.
Yeah, so it was a must win there. So it's like I said, you can tell this team was lacking confidence, motivation, and they're just not playing together. And we'll see if that can be fixed.
So here's the question of the game. The goal at New Mexico scores. Luther was it Archimede? Gets ahead of the SanAntonio defense. Catches Daniel kind of in the middle of nowhere. I think it's split on who gets the blame. I'm going to go by Rafa's theory, and here's the key. Rafa's going to not agree with this theory because we've already discussed this. Is goals scored is on the back line, the defense. The defense broke down. All credit to Luther getting ahead. I know the center back made a recovery, semi. I'm not saying Daniel's not guilty of being in the right position, but to me, that goal starts because of a breakdown on defense. New Mexico got their counter, and they converted the one goal of the match. Jonathan, we'll go with you. Your thoughts on New Mexico's goal? I know you put who do you want to blame?
Yeah, just figure that's an interesting discussion topic because I know people are saying, oh, Nemani shouldn't be coming out there. Salim, I believe it was, has to do better. Why not both? Why can't the blame be shared? Because honestly, like they will kind of, if you ask the players, they'd say, it's a team thing. They're not going to throw a teammate under the bus, even if they do privately feel like it was this guy's fault. They're going to be thinking, okay, well, but also, what could I have done to cover for that? What could I have done to not put them in that difficult position? That kind of thing. Like it's a team mentality. It's not like Salim or Nemani conceded the goal. SAFC conceded the goal.
Yeah.
I will also, I mean, you sort of touched on it in there, but give New Mexico some credit just for the counter because it was literally, I think SAFC had gotten forward. Patino tried to cross the ball in, it gets cut out, and New Mexico plays one pass sort of to the border between their defensive third and the middle third, and then another pass to sort of the midfield line, and then the through ball that fed Archimede.
From Harris, yeah.
Very quick, very direct, just kind of SAFC from a few years ago, cutting the ball out defensively and then moving it forward very quickly, very directly. And they were able to catch SAFC out, and that's all it took. SAFC, for what it's worth, did show, even down a man, did show some energy, some fight, more than they had in recent weeks, which isn't saying much. The bar was kind of low, but they did show something. They were trying to get forward, and it burned them in that moment. Carlos Simas even talked about after the match, like, well, yeah, we're pushing, we're a man down, so obviously there's going to be a little more space, but like we're still trying to get forward. We're trying to not sit back and try and defend a draw at home like that. And they got burned for it. That's how it is.
Jenny making a point that should talk to a couple of the SAFC personnel. and one said she was close to losing complete control of the game. I think that's fair, but to be fair, because I know Danielle and others, with that for female referees and stuff, we've seen this with men as well for that here. So it's not to pinpoint that it's because she's a woman for that here. I just want to make sure that's clear. That as a referee in general, it was a game that if she's getting rated on, she's probably not getting a very high score for that here along those lines here. But it is a learning experience. I've seen a few of her games, and like I said here, it's it's through there. Matt, your thoughts on the goal? I know by this point you're kind of sitting and watching the game and probably having a couple of beverages.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, there was just I didn't feel it. I mean, going into it, Rafa was trying to convince me to put up stuff and make it look lively, and I was like, nah, there's no point. I don't see a point. And just sitting out in the tailgate area, I was just like, there's a vibe around this stadium that I'm not liking, and I just went in with the I don't give a fuck.
Rafa, your thoughts on the goal? Our resident goalkeeper. You kind of shocked me that you put more of that on Daniel and not not staying with the goalkeeper union. Your thoughts?
Well, if you watch the play, when I kind of watched a little bit more now that I've seen more clips of it, I think I could kind of agree a little bit with Jonathan. It was kind of a both, but Daniel's got to realize he has to cut angles off. But also, Celine, he needs to drive him away from the goal, and that's out of communication from both. But if he's beat, he has to kind of push him towards the sideline to make that shot more difficult than it was. Because, like I said, Daniel could have had still pushed up a bit, but still cover his near post, and he would have made pretty much figured out where the shot's going to be at. So kind of at first it looked like he made a bad run, but I kind of, like I said, it goes on both, but still the defender should have kind of guided him away from the goal. But Daniel should have been a little bit more patient as far as, because I didn't think he had the right angle to shoot the ball, and I think Daniel could have waited a bit. But like I said, I think that's coming to as far as not trusting your defender, and that's what I'm starting to kind of see, especially with our goalkeepers. Our goalkeepers are making some of these mistakes, like Harry, you mentioned, like sometimes with Sanchez coming out. I think that goes back to lack of trust to their back four, because they say I better do this because he or she's not, or he's not going to do this. He's not going to defend well. So I think that's what Spence, what we saw against this on this goal.
So I'm sure Jonathan's going to touch base on it in the preview article for this week's home match here. I'll just say home form is not good. Is that correct, Jonathan?
Oh, horrendous this year. I mean, already set a record for the most home losses. For anyone who read my most recent preview, I finally decided, what, SAFC keeps talking about, we do better on the road. So let me look at the numbers. They're averaging more points away from home this season. So that tells you everything. Sad. It's weird. It's really weird too, because it's just counterintuitive. You would think a team would do better in its home stadium with its home fans. For some reason, it does the exact opposite. SAFC's better away.
I have those numbers here, according to Bluish Moon blog at .wordpress.com. This was the paragraph. Despite SAFC's current winless run, it has found relatively success on the road, drawing 3 straight away from home while losing 4 in a row at Toyota Field. In fact, SAFC is averaging more points away from home at 1.4, which, if you're looking at that, that's actually probably pretty good. 1.4.
It's better now.
Yeah, and that doesn't count this one here compared to 1.33 at home. And that's the difference on why San Antonio's, or, at that time why San Antonio was on the bubble on the playoffs. Now with the win, they're quote unquote comfortable. But if they lose next week, they'll be back on the bubble because that's what the West is. Final thought on the New Mexico match. They have our number this year. There's no other way to say it. And Sam mentioned, let's not forget, boys, ticket prices are still being jacked up. Payments due tomorrow on renewal. So yeah. Any final thoughts on the New Mexico fun match? Nope. All right. Rafa, why don't you give the read to And so, medical report for Loudon. Perez, Crognale, Luke, Hawkinson, and Jake. I wonder if Jake's coming back, to be honest with you, with the recent additions to the forward line here. And then, of course, suspensions, Landry Walker. I do wonder if SAFC even challenged it, just for the fact that I think there's a fee to challenge that. I do wonder if they just with Landry being an academy player, if they just let it
Took
out.
the medicine.
But here is a good question, because Landry's not on a paid contract. Typically, if you get a red card, there's a fee for getting a red card. Who pays that? Who pays? Does the academy player have to pay that fee, even though he's not on a paid professional contract? That's an interesting question. Any thoughts on that, Rafa? Any knowledge?
Not that I know of, unless one of the sponsors is going to pick it up, Toyota or Community Health, have some money on the side, or one of the food vendors.
But Jonathan, why don't you tell us who is not on the list, but yet I don't think they were on the trip.
Yeah, so anyone who's been following SAFC for a few months knows that Juan Sebastian Osorio had been out pretty consistently. I think, well, even before that, I think since May, maybe early June. So it had been a few months from him, but he had been sort of gradually coming back. Jamosa, I want to say late July, maybe early August, had said he's undergone surgery. It'll be about 4 weeks, and then we expect him back. Well, he was deemed fit again this weekend. So cool. One more option for SAFC. Usually, it may seem like a distant memory now, but at least before the injury, he was being played mostly as a right back. And then Alex Grieve also has been injured pretty much since May. Did come back for a brief moment in July for like a match or two, and somehow was injured again. But now he's fit again. We'll see. We'll see if it lasts this time. We'll see if he's able to make any impact with the time that remains this year. I know a few people on social media have kind of been like, "Man, yeah, it would be really nice if this guy was ever fit," because they rated him fairly highly, but you can't make an impact if you're not on the field. So yeah, those are the two big returns from injury this past weekend. Lucio Barone also back. He had missed the previous match, the one against New Mexico, with apparently just a knock, and then played the first half this past Saturday away to Loudon, and then came off because, from what Carlos Hermoso was saying, he had had an ankle injury and the turf was not treating him very kindly. So that's maybe a bit of a blessing in disguise, given the fact that Jimmy Madronda came on for him. But I don't want to get ahead of myself.
So
Nothing.
the lineup. Oh, go ahead.
Nothing against, and actually, technically, it would have been a different swap. But yeah, Barone decided he needed to come off, so I think it was Omar came on for him, I want to say. And I'm drawing a blank on who it was that came on from Madronda, or off from Madronda. Blanco. I don't remember what the reason for him coming off was, but yeah. So Barone was back this week. Just a quick knock that kept him out of New Mexico.
So starting 11, Diego Santiago gets to start his first since returning. Nicky, Barone, Soto, Jorge, Reese, Alexis, Mitch, Nelson, Blanco, and Richard back in goal. We're a little bit comfortable with Daniel. I guess Coach was on the side of Rafa, if I'm going to interpret that, because Rafa did say, hey, if he makes a mistake, here comes Richard, and bam, Richard's back. For that here, traditional 4-4-2 is what they're saying for that here. Pretty standard lineup. Jonathan, any thoughts on the lineup from the media side here? I know you just mentioned Patino's first start, Sanchez back in goal. Anything else you want to add?
Not really. Those were the two highlights for me. I don't remember who all was on the bench, but maybe one of the recent signings. Linhares, I think, was there.
Actually, yeah. So Omar, Dollenmeyer, Agudelo, Neville, Linhares, and Madronda. So
okay, yeah. So Linhares and Dollenmeyer.
Dollenmeyer were the new signings for that here. Rafa, SAFC gives up a goal. Everybody was shouting offsides. Jonathan got in trouble with one of the SanAntonio FC players, pointing out that somebody may have kept him on. Still a little bit tight, but at least we can kind of understand it now, I think, a little bit better of why that goal stood, because it was close and where the camera angle was. Who knows if he was or wasn't. But your thoughts on SanAntonio FC once again giving up the first goal?
It's just a mental axe on the defense again, just like last week. You got to be aware of your surroundings, and I think that stems from lack of communication on the back four. And you know, that's a little surprising with Mitch back there. He has to take that leadership role and get on their ass, and that's what I'm used to my back four, especially my center mids. You know, your outside defenders ain't doing, get on their ass. You know, chew their ass out because they got to be alert. So yeah, it was a tight play, you know, but still, you can kind of get your step up, get them offside. Hey, there would have been no goal, but like I said, it's lucky, just a tight squeeze for that goal for them, and they're able to get it in.
Matt, your thoughts on the goal? I think Matt's internet's having some issues. Can't hear you. No. All right, so we're going to move on from Matt. Can't hear you. 29th minute, Pacheco was shot off the crossbar. Jonathan, you put and possibly over, no goal. It was clearly over.
Everyone keeps saying, "Oh, you can see daylight between the ball and the goal line," but as we were just saying, the angle you're viewing this from is not straight on.
Well, it's not that you could see the difference. You could see the damn ball spot from the turf pellets that kicked up from it. That was clearly a foot inside the goal. It's
close to. I'd say it's a little closer to the line than that. A foot inside the goal. That is an exaggeration if ever I've heard one. This is one that you can look at the replay all you want, and I mean, again, kind of like with the first controversial call, I got into some, I don't want to say trouble, but I may be on a certain SAFC players hate list at the moment, because I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. You know, I don't mind being the 1% of SAFC fans that's like, hey, let's take off or not SAFC fans, but the SAFC community that's taking off the SAFC tinted glasses and saying, okay, here's what the referee might be seeing here. Here's why this is not the goal that everyone thinks it is. If I mean, it may have been over the line, but from the angle we see, we can't be, at least I don't think, especially with the footage and having to zoom in and everything, it's possible that maybe there's still a sliver over the line. I mean, again,
Rafa, straighten him out.
playing devil's advocate.
No, that goal was in. I mean, if you watch the replay, it's a tight. I know it's a real tight. If you watch the angle, there is a little daylight between past the line, and I know USL doesn't have VAR, but I think Harry made a good point yesterday about there's no reason why we can't have goal line technology. I think that could be put into the USL. But if you watch it, you can see, and even the announcer said, they said that they saw the space past that line that that was in, and if there was VAR, we would have gotten the goal.
Well, VAR's not, as we've seen in leagues, not always the. Go ahead, Jonathan.
I'll just say, for what it's worth, and this is the questionable AI overview that Google is forcing upon us, but I just did a quick search, goal line technology cost. Goal line technology installation costs range from approximately $250,000 to $500,000 per stadium, also a per match fee. So, you're sacrificing a few players per team to do that, and I guess the USL has decided they don't want to do that. And to be fair, I guess not even MLS is using goal line technology. I'm pretty sure they're just trying to rely on VAR for that.
I just think the reason why I say for goal line is just with the difference in stadiums. It's easier to put that in than it is for the actual VAR because of the different sight lines, different camera angles for that here. But SanAntonio does catch a break, 45+1. Pedro Santos picks up a second yellow after the first one here. I don't think there's any dispute. It was a second yellow for here. Clumsy second challenge. But we go in at the half, down a man, up a man, down a goal. And then the second half, Medrano said, let me try to get goal of the week. Although Zico Bailey, if you watched, I think it was the Wednesday match, had a hell of a goal. I think from just his side of midfield and a midweek game, that was ESPN's top play for that day. So goal of the week, not necessarily a guarantee for Jimmy Miranda, but 58th minute, excellent volley off Jorge's corner, a set piece goal. We were joking in the chat that somebody wasn't going to go to the Spurs event today for the supporters group. We were talking some trash, and bam! Because Royce had pointed out that we hadn't scored on a set or on a corner at least all year. So, Jonathan, your thoughts on the Madranda's goal, the volley that just I don't think anybody's stopping that one.
Yeah, no, I mean, good servicing by Jorge. Madranda has entirely too much space. I don't know. I guess Loudon is down a man, sure, but someone ought to be moving over to cover him. He's got entirely too much space. Catches it perfectly before it even hits the ground and puts it in. For whatever reason, he only scores bangers, and it's always in a comeback win for SAFC because he did the same thing in Lexington earlier this year for that 3-2 win.
Mm-hmm. Matt, your thoughts on the Madrona goal and how you didn't live up to your promise?
Hey, I think I suffer with Kansas City, Houston, and freaking Manchester United losing. So I think I suffered for the consequence. But with what it's worth, I'm thankful SAFC won the game. And yes, we were joking around. I was like, they make it. I won't go to the thing tomorrow. And bam, they made it.
Rafa, your thoughts?
Just that shot, that's a very difficult shot to do on a one timer, especially you're kind of high your body is at, because if he leans back, that ball's over the bar. He timed it perfect, and I think he leaned really forward to it. He really drove that ball, and that keeper had no chance. Even if he dived for that, that was going in. So, that's just a banger of goals, and hopefully he can score some more bangers here on out.
61st minute, Madrano crosses the ball, drops, and who scores that goal? Matt, you want to take a guess who scores the second goal?
Santi.
Welcome back, Santi.
Yep.
That's the kind of forwards we're missing, right, Rafa?
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you see, and then Miranda, like I said, that pass, Santi was asking for that ball just to kind of chest it down and be able to. He did have to reach a little bit for it, but like I said, he was able to bury that shot, and that's what you sign him for. That's what he's there for, just to put goals away like that.
But how convenient the way he shot that goal was the winning goal also for championship. Off the chest and straight to the back of the net.
We have an important question here. Hey, does someone know who won between America and Guadalajara Chivas last night?
Doesn't matter.
But don't matter because they're not going to make the playoffs anyway. So they're gonna get to the second division soon.
63rd. Well, it says Loudon cross from end line into dangerous area, poked in for own goal. I'm trying to remember who was the SAFC player that crossed it in.
I think it ended up being, I want to say Suai. Yes, Alexi Suai. And it's weird because for a moment they were crediting an actual Loudon player, and then you see the replay and you're like, no, there are two SAFC defenders, Richard Sanchez. There's not a Loudon player anywhere near that ball when it gets redirected in. So they did correct it. It was Suai. I mean, it's just such an awkward position for a defender, right in front of your goal there. And had they known there wasn't really anyone close, maybe they could have dealt with it a little better. Instead of playing it into your own goal, just repel it back out parallel to the end line. But didn't happen. These things just occur occasionally. So for a moment there, 10-men Loudon had drawn level.
And I'll tell you, my confidence went down. I was like, yep, this is how the San Antonio season. Just, up a man, bad luck, equalizes. However, 14 minutes later, Buckmaster makes up for being offsides earlier, or keeping somebody onside. Pardon me.
But that equalizer by Loudon, if you watch the replay, Miranda got suckered in to go on the inside instead of staying wide with that defender. And those are the problems we're having back there. Is the lack of ball watching instead of watching your area. If he stays out wide, that's not a goal. He got too suckered into the middle spot for that. So if you watch the replay, if he stays wide, that guy, he doesn't score on that one.
77th minute, Buckmaster chasing out of the box, pushed down. PK gifted to SAFC and Jorge converts. I didn't think it was a gift. I thought it was.
Well, not necessarily from the referee or anything, but from Loudon, because again, following that corner, the ball is bouncing away.
He pushed him away.
Buckmaster is facing it. It's a really stupid foul to give from Loudon, but they do it. SAFC gets a bit of a break there from them, and Jorge Hernandez scores the winning goal from the penalty spot. Goalkeeper guessed the right way, but couldn't stop it.
Probably one of his better PKs, in my opinion, that he's done. Rafa, your thoughts on the Buckmaster foul or receiving the foul and then the PK from Jorge?
I think there was a foul before even that play. I think he was gonna blow the whistle, but then he kind of let the play go when Buckmaster went after the ball, and then that was a clear tackle from the back. So, and then the shot, and like I said, Jorge buried it away. I know you were a little worried about Jorge taking it, and you probably thought Santi maybe would take that one
I
too.
still think it should have been Santi,
but he placed it right. I mean, even though the goalie guessed right, he buried it kind of high and with power, and got the lead.
We're gonna skip you, Matt. We'll have you talk about the Neville goal here. 90th, Soto squares from the right for Neville. Gave him a nice pass, and Neville, and probably one of the prettiest goals where he aimed it. Wasn't shot with power, but it was a good placement goal, which I think SanAntonio FC would be much better if they did do more placements than power. But that's just me as a armchair podcaster sitting at home watching the game for that here. But your thoughts, Matt, on Neville's beautiful goal and placement?
I mean, it was great. Like it looked like there was no effort in it. He just placed it correctly. I mean, and I was pretty excited for him, being that Phoenix was giving him a rough time. I think he's kind of a steal in my thoughts.
Yeah, I couldn't even make the 18. Jonathan, your thoughts on it before we finish up with Rafa on that?
I mean, good finish. I mean, I don't even know if maybe it is placement. Maybe it's a little bit. I don't know. First time like that, he may not have necessarily said, "I'm going to place it right there," but he catches it well. It's beyond the goalkeeper's reach. It goes in, counts just the same. I'm sure if you ask him, he'll say, "Oh yeah, that's exactly where I was planning to put it." But yeah, it's not like Neville has been perfect since joining SAFC, but he's made some contributions. He provided a bit of a spark, and now gets a goal for the effort he's been putting in for the last couple months. So it's better than being completely out of the squad in Phoenix.
Rafa?
Just a great placement. I mean, what if anybody's out there's ever played, one-time shots are very difficult. I mean, it's you have to, sometimes the placement's not always there. It's just the way your body is in like I said, the shot. Like I said, a lot of the times those shots, go over the bar. But he just had a good body control on that one, and those are probably the toughest shots for a goalkeeper to stop, those one-timers, because they're very unpredictable, and you have quick seconds to react, and the goalie had no chance on that one. So kudos to Neville on that one. That was a great goal.
And I want to give credit to Soto because there's been plenty of times that we've seen our players take that shot, because he could have took a shot. It would have been a more difficult shot. But he laid it off, and he laid it off perfectly to where Neville could, do what he did. So at this point, I was like, hey, we're up 2 goals. That's something that I can't remember the last time SanAntonio FC's been up 2 goals this year, which says a lot.
But it was funny how we were just joking around the whole time.
Off the top of my head, last time SAFC was up 2 goals would have been July 26th against New Mexico. We know how that turned out.
Which didn't end it. But 10 minutes later, kind of speaking of New Mexico in 10 minutes, Madronda cross from the left finds Hernandez inside top of the box, and he gets his brace, right? Because he had the PK goal for right here, so he gets a brace on the night. Ends up being 5-2. To me, one of the most unexpected victories, because Loudoun is a solid playoff team in the East for that here, and they have made some moves this year to strengthen the team compared to previous history, so they are a solid team. out east, which I haven't looked at the numbers, but I think the East is probably stronger than the West this year. I don't know if that's really even much for debate right now. But it ends 5-2. We go home happy. But our next two are at home. And as Jonathan will do in his preview, we'll talk about the success or lack of success, probably. I have a feeling there'll be some comments on there again. So, final thoughts on Loudon. We'll go with you, Matt.
It was a great game. Very unexpected 5 goals. I didn't think we would actually pull it off, but like I said, we were joking around, me saying, I'm not going to go if they score this goal. And then I doubled down saying, nah, for sure, we won't go 2. And they still kept making them. And I'm just like, there's some conflict in that if they do it. So, but yeah, dude, I did not expect a 5-2 ending in this game. I literally thought we were going to get blown out for them being a top 3 team.
But, and I'll steal Jonathan's thunder on this here. I think it was a couple seasons ago. SAFC was kind of struggling, had a breakout game against, I think you said it was Orange County, if memory serves me right. And then that flash in the pan kind of sputtered back out the rest of the season. So, fool's gold, we will see. Right now we're 4th, tied for 3rd, but 4th because we lost the tiebreaker to New Mexico. However, I think it's 3 points from 3rd to 8th, if memory serves me right. And then Orange County, who we played, we have 2 matches left. Starting the first one this weekend because the disaster against Hartford, got that rescheduled. Match too.
Technically, it was the away match against Orange County that was rescheduled.
Right,
but
yes, I'm talking about. Yes.
Yeah, this one Saturday was always scheduled.
Yeah, but the first match was rescheduled to the last Wednesday of the week of the season.
Pretty much.
Thoughts, Jonathan?
I guess I'll say the most important thing for SAFC was to get that monkey off your back. 8 matches without a win. Finally snapped that. They had just set the club record the week before with that loss against New Mexico. So it was into like record-setting territory. You don't want to be there for something like that, but they were able to get it off their back. I will also say Jimmy Madronda, one hell of a halftime substitute, as I alluded to earlier. 2 assists, a hell of a goal. Kind of makes you wonder, maybe he should be playing a little more often. Ideally in an advanced role, because like Rafa alluded to earlier, maybe not always the best defensively, but he brings you a lot going forward on that left side, clearly.
But who are you taking off for him? That's the question if you're moving him up front.
I think you change the formation. I think you go to the 3-back. Honestly,
if only SAFC had just signed another center back.
I mean, literally, if you want to kind of avoid that, him, he still has to defend, especially on the 3-4-3 or 3-5-2. But he won't have as much as responsibilities, maybe, and as far as a back 4. But still, I think if you watch, remember that game in Corpus that we went, they played a 3-back, and he was pretty. He was pretty active back there, and like I said, he started out well, but then he got in the doghouse, and hopefully maybe now he's out of the doghouse. But I honestly think maybe we do need to go to a 3-back, and I think maybe that'll free up some of our offensive woes too to get some more people up, because like I said, the guys we have, I think we have enough to play a 3-back.
Yeah. And I lost the next point I was going to make. I was going to say, yes, possibly a tactical change. At the same time, you've got 6-7 matches left in the season. It's a little risky to change your system at this late stage, I'd say. But it's not impossible. Maybe this is also something that the seed has been planted, and then you see some of these guys back next season. You have a 3-back. You have the likes of maybe Madronda and Neville as wingbacks, or whoever it ends up being. It's a possibility going forward. I just don't know if you want to make that change this late in the season. I will also. I'm going to have to be the one to bring us back down to earth. But I reminded Harry before we started recording. Matt, Rafa, does anyone know how many goals SAFC scored against Loudoun when they had 11 men?
0.
Yep. So take this with a grain of salt. Like, yes, SAFC got the offense going again. In some of these cases, they had guys open, which might have to do with Loudoun being down a man, not having someone to cover everyone that SAFC was throwing at them. And Loudoun, if you read my preview, they were already kind of conceding a lot of goals in addition to scoring a lot themselves. So it's not like their defense was watertight, and losing a defensive player especially, obviously did not help that. So it's you kind of have to see how SAFC builds off of this, because as Harry alluded to me saying earlier, there was a 4-0 win against Orange County toward the end of the 2023 season, and you think, oh, SAFC's back, but it ended up just being an anomaly. So now SAFC goes home for 2 matches. They have to build on this. They have to take that confidence, that swagger, scoring 5 goals. You have to take that home now. And I don't know. We'll see what SAFC shows up on Saturday. If this getting the monkey off their back, if it's changed them, or if they revert to being that same team that just can't get things to click at home, or overall, but particularly at home.
The only other thing on the list, Jonathan mentions another USL League One team north of Dallas starting in 2026. How many is too many? When Third Degree doesn't know, it raises a lot of questions for me about it. So USL League One is just exploding, which is good if they're trying to build 3 divisions. Liga MX, I think, formally announced ProRail this week, right? I think if memory serves me right.
Yeah.
Champions League's on this week for that here. So I know Newcastle, I think, plays Barcelona, I believe is who travels to there here. So AJ and I will be going
Harry, now you know how when the VAR gets you, now you know how it feels. You'll know when they go against Barcelona.
Hey, Matt, is Man U playing Champions League this year?
That's funny.
Hey, I think Man U's out of all cups except that are active right now.
The FA Cup's haven't started, right?
No, not yet. That doesn't start until after the holidays.
Well, technically it starts a little before that, but the Premier League teams get to enter after the new year. Because keep in mind, that's like round 3. So at least United is still a Premier League team. They don't have to enter in the first 2 rounds.
Dude, I think they deserve to get relegated. That's how bad I think they're playing. They deserve to get relegated and start all over.
So, Matt, you went to, and just because I know it's not really SAFC related, but it is kind of SAFC related with Spurs trying to adopt a supporters culture for the Spurs. You went this morning. The cost is $1,000. I guess you get tickets. I think it was clarified. Your thoughts on, number one, what you experienced, and just the idea about kind of merging soccer supporters group with basketball.
I mean, it's like how I was talking to Rafa a good chunk of the time I was there, because we were waiting. That's all we were doing. We were just waiting. And, dude, all you heard was, and then you would think if some of these fans had their own original chant, it would give you an edge, right? The whole time I was there, all I heard was just "Go Spurs, go" chants. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm talking to Rafa. I was like, Rafa, I think I might have an advantage here over everybody. But when it came to the audition part, we were offered, do you want to go solo or do you want to do it as a group? And I already like helped out the group that I was with. I was like, you know what, here we'll do this chant. It was an easy one because a lot of them were complaining, oh, they're too hard to learn. But I'm over here saying, and I was trying to explain to them, they're clapbacks. I say it, you repeat it. That's all you have to do. It's not that difficult to listen. Well, they were complaining that it was difficult, so I went with an easy chant that they could do off the back. And turns out no one listened to me. They did a different chant, and then once they were done with that one, they were all looking at each other like, where's that dude at? Like, we need to do another one. So I started the one that we do, which is Broham, the one where we go, oh, and then SanAntonio, right? 4 times each. And they started doing that one, and we were doing it for a good while. They luckily had the Spurs drum there, so I got to bang on that drum for a little bit. But when it was time to come to leave, I told Wimby, I was like, hey man, I'm just wanting to let you know, I'm coming out of SAFC to come try this out, just to feel it out. And his eyes opened up. He's like, wait, you're from SAFC? And I was like, yeah, I do. I'm one of the drum couples there, and I help co-lead one of the supporter groups. And he was like, oh, okay. And then I told him, come out Saturday, and we could show you what we do. Well, I don't. I mean, it's more of that seeing is believing kind of stuff. So if he goes, he goes. If he doesn't, I ain't asked her about it. But I did call out RC Buford. I said, hey, I better see you there on Saturday. And he's like, no, 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 I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there. So we'll see about that one.
Hey,
But
did you
other
see
than that, I
Ferruzzi?
mean, no,
No. Okay.
no. I saw a bunch of the funny thing was that there was a bunch of security that usually do SAFC games, and they saw me and they're like, dude, you can't do soccer here. I was like, bro, it's the same thing. And then and they were like, well, you're kind of right. A lot of these people aren't gonna know what to do, and you out of all of them probably do know what to do. But
Sam's giving you a tip for next time.
Should have given him your business card, man. We need to get the
but
FTC business card.
But the funny thing out of all of this was, and it was somewhat it was kind of weird. There was an ex-USL ref that was there, and he kind of noticed the jersey, and he was like, "Hold up, you do you're one of the couples for y'all's groups, right, in the support section?" I said, "Yeah, what's going on, man?" He was like, "Hey, if they don't pick you, none of these guys are gonna make it." And I was like, I mean, I'm just here just to check it out, man. I'm really not trying to go through with it all the way. And he was like, I'm just saying, if they pick you, I would go through with it. But it's like I was talking to Leja, it's like I was talking to Rafa and some of the other guys. I don't see this fulfilling more than 10 games. Because if they're going to be the way that the Euros are, you're going to have beer throwing. You're going to have people complaining about the loudness. You're going to have people complaining about the rowdiness. I mean,
they whine about that at Toyota Field, let alone AT&T or
yeah.
Frostbank, whatever it is now.
And like Leja says, we're saying over under on 10.5. So either it's going to happen or not. It's just I don't and same thing about maybe 80 under 80 showed up. It wasn't a lot of people. But to have them all just like just doing Go Spurs Go, and I went up to 2 of them and I was like, here, look, I see potential in y'all. This is coming from a soccer point of view that does it all the time. I tried to give them a chance and let them like help them out, basically, right? They didn't take the advice, and when we got to the back and they were doing the audition, they did their own thing, and I was like, oh well, you can't help save them all. So, but It was pretty good. I sent I don't know if you got it, Harry, on your X, but I sent you some a video of how many people were there,
Yeah, I saw it.
what it was like. It was an experience, but it's not one where I'm gonna be like, I'm glad I went, because in a way, to me, I feel like a little sour if they're gonna go through with stuff that we can't go through over at Toyota Field. So
If they want to get a clue, like what Lejas mentioned, those ladies should go to Toyota this Saturday because we'll show how it's done. And I think I said Matt that clip on that KSAT one. I think it was on Instagram. It was just, I mean, you can kind of tell it's not. I don't. If you ever watch a Euro basketball game, it's like watching a Euro soccer game. That's how passionate those guys are. Because a lot of those
yeah,
those football teams own basketball teams too. So like I said, they all come from the same ultras or supporter groups. So um, yeah, they got a lot to learn. So but good luck to them. I just don't think I don't know if they can be consistent enough. I think it's easier for soccer because we play once a week. For basketball, I think because you're playing two, maybe three, like back to back
Yeah,
nights,
two
or
games. Yeah.
yeah, I just don't see that. And then not everybody can make it up to like a 5 game homestand and so far this
and
Christmas because you're
But
playing.
and
I
that's the
also
thing
don't
we were
think the
telling. I was telling
NBA
Rafa too.
rules. To me, will the NBA allow it with their rules and their? Let's not forget the NBA controls that environment quite a bit.
Yeah.
And so I'll just leave it how it is.
They had to have gotten some kind of approval if they're going through with it. If you get what I mean,
I'll
they
disagree
had to
with
have
you on
gotten
that.
some pre-approval.
I
But at the
disagree.
same time, but in the same time, like I told Rafa, how are you gonna have these this? And I'm gonna say 50. We're gonna go 50 because that's how what I think probably will make it through. You're gonna have 50 people chanting tonight, right? Tonight's a Spurs night. There's a game on Tuesday. How many of those people are still going to show up on Tuesday and can actually still have a voice to chant? They don't get the break like we do. And I just don't see it falling through all the way. I just see in a dream, it's perfect. It's perfect. In theory and in reality, it just not gonna happen. I don't think it can happen.
Jonathan, I have to give you kudos. Your Texas State beat UTSA in football, so hats off to you. Although they didn't fare very well. Well, I guess they didn't fare poorly against
Don't worry
Arizona
about it.
State, but they have won 2 in a row against UTSA. But
Hmm.
what do you got going on this week for bluishmoonblog.wordpress.com?
Nothing really out of the ordinary I can think of this next week. But for anyone who missed it last week, I did put together a piece on Joey Vitruni, his journey through the ranks in San Antonio, club, high school, all that. And then SAFC offered him a professional contract straight out of high school, and I mean, I don't want to spoil the the outcome, but for anyone who follows SAFC mildly, in any close fashion at all, you know that he actually went to college for a few years, but that did not mean SAFC was done with him, cut all ties or anything. They were still in contact, and obviously now that he's back with SAFC, it comes full circle. But he's still he grew during his time in college and playing for Des Moines Menace and all that in the intervening 4 years. So he's not necessarily the same player or even the same guy who left San Antonio in 2021. He's still looking to become a fixture at SAFC. Who knows if he does well enough? Maybe he even goes on to bigger fields somewhere else, bigger opportunities. You never know. But I just thought it was a really interesting story, and I think one of the interesting takeaways for me is that Juan La Madrid, when I talked to him, because obviously being a goalkeeper coach, he's worked with Joey for a while. He he was well placed to talk about this, but he's also academy director, and he mentioned the names of a few other guys who have gone off to college that they keep in contact with, and who, for all we know, might come back to SAFC once their college time is done. If they're ready to make the jump to the professional game, we'll see. But I think it's kind of neat that you have that pipeline kind of circling back to SAFC if a player is good enough, is going to make it in the pro ranks.
Matt, your final thoughts?
Today was great. I trying that out with the Spurs. But one thing I will point out, and I don't know if any of the players are watching this. I don't care if you lose. I don't care if you're winning. Just come and say hi to the fans, man. It doesn't matter how popular of a player you are. It doesn't matter how low of a player you are. We give y'all as much respect, and we're there chanting for the 90 minutes. And I know some of the guys know who I'm really aiming this towards, but it's we're there the full 90 minutes. We chant our hearts out. We're drumming our hearts out, and we're probably even, who knows, we're giving up a day to do something with other people. And I'm not saying families, because that family comes first, but we're giving up things to do with other people, and we're decided to be there at the game and support y'all. So I'm just want to say, still go to the supporter groups and just say thank you for showing up, and thank you for chanting, because the appreciation that we've been getting all year, it's dragging more people into that section and wanting to naturally start chanting and wanting to learn stuff, and it's helping it. The both supporter groups are benefiting off of it. So just keep the supporter groups appreciation going, and that's going to the players. And as for everything else, I mean, the guys are doing great. I'm proud of them. They pissed me off, but hey, what supporter group's gonna be perfect, man? I think this year was probably a good turnaround year for both supporter groups.
Rafa, your final thoughts? Where in the world is Rafa? Last week you were West Texas?
In Odessa. Yep.
This week you are
Laredo, Texas.
Laredo Heat territory.
Yep. They got a nice stadium. Have you ever
they should go to League One. In my
opinion, they should go to League One. I don't know why they. Like I said, they have a good fan base here. They actually do. I guess my final thoughts. Going back, I guess hopefully, like I said, the players head up. Like I said, we sacrificed there in the supporter group. I've been playing with a bad elbow all year long. I can't even tell you that. I've been hurt, so I sacrificed there a lot. But just like I said, just a little quick shout out to Rex, Royce's boy. Happy birthday to him. Great. Happy birthday to him. My final thought, like I said, hopefully we can get 3 points against Orange County. Build off this win. It was a good win. It was a confidence booster. Do not let down this Saturday. Don't let your guard down this Saturday. Keep it up. You got to you got to get hungry. And this is like the right time to start peaking, because Colorado did it kind of last year. I think if we can do it too, build off of that, because October is going to be a nightmare of a schedule, because we only got one game, and that's the last one against El Paso. But these are winnable games that if we can get it pieced together, play hard, don't give up, play smart. Like I said, unless we can stay in the top 3 or 4, like I said, at least we get to host the game. But
do you want to host though?
Maybe, like I said, maybe we'd be like Colorado, be the 6th seed and all the way to the championship. So, but like I said, we'll just make sure everyone, like I said, for Saturday, like I said, it's I think it's Loteria night. I think it's a Hispanic Heritage night too. So come out, enjoy. The game should be a fun one. I think we're still planning what type of tailgate we're going to do. Hopefully it'll be a good one. I don't know if we'll break out the piñata or not. we'll see. Probably not.
I,
I think that's a
I don't
curse.
know, dude. I don't know because we can't say it's the Piñata's fault for all these losses. So I
Oh,
don't know.
well, we can make an adult piñata. I guess you know, have that, let them hit them. But like I said, just show out to Toyota. Should be like I said, a big. Like I said, it's all these games are big games because we have to finish strong. So come check us out. Like I said, they're at the tailgate, and then join us at 118, and hopefully we can get another victory.
So my final thought this week has to do with I think it was National Suicide Prevention Day earlier this week. If you're on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Norwich City put out, I think it was last year that they did it, a great hype video. And a hype video is probably not the proper term, but a great video on soccer fans. It's two soccer fans,
Hmm.
at a game throughout the season. And I won't spoil it for you, but the person that you thought was the point wasn't there. So if you need to talk, like I said, I know any of us, Royce, Jonathan, Rafa, Matt, me, Jonathan, Robert, Stewart, anybody within FTC, 210 Alliance, the Crocateers, I know they're not official, but if you need somebody to talk to, anybody that's been in the supporters culture, we'll definitely lend a ear for you. Also, you can call 988 for that here as well. I've lost a friend due to suicide here, so that's why I do try to point this out as often as I can, just because sometimes it's people that you don't think it should be for that here along those lines here. And Chris Leha mentioned of MCS fame. Rather homie cry on my shoulder than their loved ones cry because they didn't talk. So 100% on that here. So whether it's Spurs fan base or SAFC fan base, if you need to talk, I'm 100% positive that 99.5% of us will give you the time just to let you vent, and because a lot of times that just helps where you're able to get that through here. So hope everyone has a great week. Like I said here, I'll put out the podcast probably in the morning. Happy birthday to Mama Rafa. Like I said here, another year around the sun. And Rafa, hopefully come home soon. I know you've stopped for a day and then back out on the road. So, but I guess that big Texas A&M money pays off there for you along those lines. But what's life without goals? We are out of here.